Not wine, water.
Arya Stark spent weeks refilling the wine cup of the man who lit the fuse on the war that beheaded her father, and at any moment she could have ended him with a single whispered name. Tywin Lannister, the most powerful and most dangerous man in Westeros, sat close enough to spit on, completely unaware that his quiet little cupbearer was holding the deadliest favor in the Seven Kingdoms. One word, and the War of the Five Kings is over before breakfast. She never said it. And ever since, fans have been screaming the same thing at their screens. Why? Rewind. On the road to Harrenhal, Arya saves 3 men from burning alive in a cage. One of them is Jaqen Hghar.
And only death may pay for life.
No ordinary criminal, but a faceless man. A religious assassin who treats death as a sacred transaction. He tells Arya she stole 3 lives from the Red God, and the books must be balanced. So he offers her 3 kills. Name anyone, and they die. No questions, no limits, no escape for the target. It's the single most overpowered gift in the entire show, and it lands in the lap of a 12-year-old. And every person watching had the exact same reaction. You've got a free assassination voucher, and the man running the whole enemy war effort is right there, drinking the wine you just poured him. Say Tywin. Cut off the head of the snake. End the war, save your mother, save Robb, save everyone. It's so obvious it physically hurts. Even Gendry, the second they escape that castle, basically turns to her and asks the same question the entire audience is asking. So how does she spend 3 of the most valuable kills in Westeros?
Where is the brotherhood?
She burns the first 2 on a torturer breaking prisoners in front of her, and a guard who catches her with stolen letters. One out of shaking rage, the other out of cornered panic, and she spends the last one not on an enemy at all, but as leverage to bargain her own escape. A torturer, a snitch, and a jailbreak. Tywin walks out of Harrenhal without a scratch, and if that makes you want to hurl something at the screen, good, you're supposed to. But here's the part that'll make you feel seen. Arya agrees with you. In George R.R. Martin's books, she figures it out too late. She stands on the walls of Harrenhal, watching the Lannister army march away, and tears herself apart, realizing she wasted death's gifts on small fry when she could have named the men who actually mattered. Martin wrote her regret straight onto the page, so no, you're not overthinking it. Even Arya thinks Arya blew it. So why did she do it? Why does a girl who hates the Lannisters with her whole heart let the architect of her family's destruction stroll out alive? Before we get into it, subscribe and ring the bell, because we break down thrones this deeply every single week. Now, let's get inside her head. The first thing we get wrong is the scale we're watching at. We see the grand chessboard, armies, kings, the fate of a continent. Arya doesn't. Arya is an 11-year-old girl sleeping in the mud, surrounded by men who'd happily torture her to death, just trying to survive until tomorrow. When you're that scared and that small, you don't think in 5-move strategies. You think about the threat directly in front of your face. Every name she burned solved an immediate, "this is going to get me killed" problem. We were watching a political thriller. She was living a horror movie. And she's not a master assassin yet. She's not her brother Robb commanding armies in the field. She's a traumatized child who wants personal, specific vengeance against the cruel men she can actually see hurting her, the grunts whose faces she'll remember. The abstract idea that quietly killing one cold old man in a tower collapses the entire beast simply isn't how a grieving kid's mind works. She wants to hurt the people who hurt her, not a chessboard, a face. But here's the angle almost nobody talks about. Because killing Tywin wouldn't have saved Arya, it would have killed her. Tywin is cruel, yes, but he's cruel like an accountant. Cold, controlled, ruthless purely in the name of order. His iron discipline is the only thing holding the worst men in Westeros on a leash. He actively stops his soldiers from torturing the prisoners for sport, not out of mercy, but because dead labourers are wasted labourers. Under Tywin, the horror at least has rules. Now rip that leash away. The second Jaqen kills him, command of Harrenhal doesn't pass to someone softer. It falls to Sir Gregor Clegane, the Mountain, a 7-foot animal who's caved in skulls with his bare hands for fun and burned half his own brother's face off over a toy. Or it falls to Amory Lorch, the kind of man who runs a child clean through for asking the wrong question. Picture that. An 11-year-old girl, her disguise one slipped word away from collapse, suddenly alone in a castle ruled by rabid butchers with no master left to answer to. Tywin's death doesn't free Arya. It feeds her to the monsters, and they would not be quick about it. In the most twisted irony imaginable, the man who destroyed her family was, for those few weeks, the only thing keeping her alive. Spare the tyrant, and you survive the night. Name him, and you don't see morning. And now the strangest reason of all, and here's a fact that surprises most people. This entire relationship between Arya and Tywin, it doesn't exist in the books. They never share a single scene. In Martin's version, she pours wine for Roose Bolton instead, the man about to butcher her family at the Red Wedding. The cupbearer arc, the quiet late-night talks, the whole thing, Benioff and Weiss invented it for the show, and it might be the single best addition they ever made to the source material, because watch what it does to her. Day after day, Arya pours Tywin's wine, and the two of them talk. He clocks almost instantly that she's no commoner, her speech too sharp, her posture too proud, and she can read, which a stonemason's daughter has no business doing. But he never forces the truth out of her. He just respects her. He reminisces about teaching his own son Jaime to read. He talks to her about legacy, about what survives you once you're gone. And for a girl who never fit anywhere, who wasn't ladylike enough, who only ever felt truly seen by her father and by Jon Snow, here is the head of the family that murdered hers, looking straight at her and openly admiring the exact qualities everyone else spent her whole childhood trying to grind out of her. It isn't love. It isn't forgiveness. It's a strange, warped recognition between two people who, by every law of the world, should be mortal enemies. And it is very, very hard to whisper a death sentence for the one adult in the room who treats you like you matter. That hesitation isn't weakness. It's the most human thing she does in the entire arc, which tells you what Harrenhal really was. Not a place Arya survived. A workshop. One built to take Ned Stark's daughter apart piece by piece and reassemble her into something far deadlier. Ned raised Arya on a single unbreakable rule. The man who passes the sentence should swing the sword. Killing is honest. It's personal. You look your victim in the eye, you own the act, and you never, ever hide behind another man's blade. That was her moral spine, and Harrenhal spent every single day quietly snapping it. Tywin taught her the exact opposite of everything Ned believed, that power has nothing to do with honor, that survival means reading the room and saying nothing, that legacy belongs to whoever is ruthless enough to outlast everyone else in it. And Jaqen taught her the darkest lesson of all, that death is a craft you can hire out, a name you whisper to a stranger in the dark, a face you can wear and then peel off. Ned forged the edge. Tywin and Jaqen were the hammer blows that beat it into a weapon and buried the honest little girl who once needed to swing her own sword. So sparing Tywin was never the blunder everyone yells about. It was the crucible. Every horror Arya swallowed in that castle forged the assassin who would one day end the long night itself. And the girl who could kill the Night King simply does not exist without the girl who survived Harrenhal first. Tywin Lannister spent weeks teaching Arya Stark about legacy. He never once realized he was watching his own apprentice graduate, a killer whose blade would end not in his back, but in the frozen heart of the Night King.